Chapter 5. We arrive back in London the next day, and Luke still hasn't mentioned his deal or New York or anything. And I know I should just ask him outright. I should casually say, "So what's this I hear about New York, Luke?" and wait and see what he says. But somehow I can't bring myself to do it. I mean, for a start, he's made it plain enough that he doesn't want to talk about it. If I confront him, he might think I've been trying to find out stuff behind his back. And for another start, Alicia might have got it wrong, or even be making it up. Parentheses, she's quite capable of it, believe me. When I was a financial journalist, she once sent me to the completely wrong room for a press conference, and I'm sure it was deliberate. Close parentheses. So until I'm absolutely certain of my facts, there's no point saying anything. At least this is what I tell myself. But I suppose if I'm really honest, the reason is that I just can't bear the idea of Luke turning to me and giving me a kind look and saying, "Rebecca, we've had a lot of fun, but..." So I end up saying nothing and smiling a lot, even though inside I feel more and more miserable. As we arrive back outside my flat, I want to turn to him and wail, "Are you going to New York? Are you?" But instead I give him a kiss and say lightly, "You will be okay for Saturday, won't you?" It turns out Luke's got to fly off to Zurich tomorrow and have lots of meetings with finance people, which of course is very important, and I completely understand that. But Saturday is Tom and Lucy's wedding at home, and that's even more important. He just has to be there. "I'll make it," he says, "I promise." He squeezes my hand and I get out of the car, and he says he has to shoot off, and then he's gone. Disconsolately, I open the door to our flat, and a moment later, Suze comes out of the door of her room, dragging a full black bin liner along the ground. "Hi," she says, "you're back." "Yes," I reply, trying to sound cheerful. "I'm back." Suze disappears out of our door, and I hear her lugging her black bag down the stairs and out of the main front door, then bounding up to our flat again. "So how was it?" she says breathlessly, closing the door behind her. "It was fine," I say, walking into my bedroom. "It was nice." "Nice?" Suze's eyes narrow as she follows me in. "Only nice?" "It was good." "Good? Bex, what's wrong? Didn't you have a lovely time?" I wasn't really planning to say anything to Suze because, after all, I don't know the facts yet. Plus, I read in a magazine recently that couples should try to sort their problems out alone without recourse to others. But as I look at her warm, friendly face, I just can't help it. I hear myself blurting out, "Luke's moving to New York." "Really?" says Suze, missing the point. "Fantastic. God, I love New York. I went there 3 years ago, and..." "Suze, he's moving to New York, but he hasn't told me." "Oh," says Suze, looking taken aback. "Oh, right." And I don't want to bring it up because I'm not supposed to know, but I keep thinking, why hasn't he told me? Is he just going to go? My voice is rising in distress. Will I just get a postcard from the Empire State Building saying, "Hi, I live in New York now. Love, Luke"? "No," says Suze at once. "Of course not. He wouldn't do that." "Wouldn't he?" "No, definitely not." Suze folds her arms and thinks for a few moments, then looks up. "Are you absolutely sure he hasn't told you? Like maybe when you were half asleep or daydreaming or something?" She looks at me expectantly, and for a few moments I think hard, wondering if she could be right. Maybe he told me in the car and I just wasn't listening. Or last night while I was eyeing up that girl's Lulu Guinness handbag in the bar. But then I shake my head. No, I'm sure I'd remember if he'd mentioned New York. I sink down miserably onto the bed. He's just not telling me because he's going to chuck me. "No, he's not," retorts Suze. "Honestly, Bex, men never mention things. That's just what they're like." She picks her way over a pile of CDs and sits cross-legged on the bed beside me. "My brother never mentioned when he got done for drugs. We had to find it out from the paper. And my father once bought a whole island without telling my mother. Really? Oh, yes. And then he forgot about it too. And he only remembered when he got this letter out of the blue, inviting him to roll the pig in the barrel. To do what? Oh, this ancient ceremony thing, says Suze vaguely. My dad gets to roll the first pig because he owns the island. Her eyes suddenly brighten. In fact, he's always looking for people to do it instead of him. I don't suppose you fancy doing it this year, do you? You get to wear this funny hat and you have to learn a poem in Gaelic, but it's quite easy. Suze, maybe not, says Suze hurriedly. Sorry. She leans back on my pillow and chews a fingernail thoughtfully. Then suddenly she looks up. Hang on a minute. Who told you about New York if it wasn't Luke? Alicia, I say gloomily. She knew all about it. Alicia? Sue stares at me. Alicia, bitch Longlegs? Oh, for goodness sake, she's probably making it up. Honestly, Bex, I'm surprised you even listened. And she sounds so sure that I feel my heart giving a joyful leap. Of course. That must be the answer. Didn't I suspect it myself? Didn't I tell you what Alicia was like? The only thing, tiny niggle, is I'm not sure Suze is completely 100% unbiased here. There's a bit of history between Suze and Alicia, which is that they both started working at Brandon Communications at the same time, but Suze got the sack after 3 weeks, and Alicia went on to have a high-flying career. Not that Suze really wanted to be a PR girl, but still. I don't know, I say doubtfully. Would Alicia really do that? Of course she would, says Suze. She's just trying to wind you up. Come on, Bex, who do you trust more, Alicia or Luke? Luke, I say after a pause. Luke, of course. Well then. You're right, I say, suddenly feeling more cheerful. You're right. I should just trust him, shouldn't I? I shouldn't listen to gossip and rumors. Exactly. Here are your letters and your messages. Ooh, thanks, I say, and take the bundle with a little pang of excited hope. 'Cause you never know, do you, what might have happened while you're away. Maybe one of these envelopes is a letter from a long-lost friend, or an exciting job offer, or news that I've won a holiday. But of course they aren't. It's just one boring old bill after another, which I leaf through dismissively before dropping the whole lot to the floor without even opening them. You know, this always happens. Whenever I go away, I always think I'll come back to mountains of exciting posts with parcels and telegrams and letters full of scintillating news, and I'm always disappointed. In fact, I really think someone should set up a company called holidaypost.com, which you would pay to write you loads of exciting letters, just so you had something to look forward to when you got home. I turn to my phone messages, and Suze has written them down really conscientiously. Your mom, what are you wearing to Tom and Lucy's wedding? Your mom, don't wear violet as it will clash with her hat. Your mom, Luke does know it's morning dress. Your mom, Luke is definitely coming, isn't he? David Barrow, please could you ring him? Your mom, hang on, David Barrow, who's that? Hey, Suze, I yell, did David Barrow say who he was? No, says Suze, appearing in the hall. He just said, could you ring him? Oh, right. I look at the message, feeling faintly intrigued. What did he sound like? Suze screws up her nose. Oh, you know, quite posh, quite smooth. I'm a little excited as I dial the number. David Barrow. Sounds almost familiar. Maybe he's a film producer or something. David Barrow, comes his voice. And Suze is right. He is quite posh. Hello, I say. This is Rebecca Bloomwood. I had a message to call you. Ah, Miss Bloomwood. I'm the special customer manager of La Rosa. Oh, I screw up my face puzzledly. La Rosa? What on earth? Oh, yes. That trendy boutique in Hempstead. But I've only been in there about once, and that was ages ago. So why is he calling me? May I say first what an honor it is to have a television personality of your caliber as one of our customers. Oh, well, thank you, I say, beaming at the phone. It's a pleasure, actually. This is great. I know exactly why he's calling. They're going to give me some free clothes, aren't they? Or maybe, yes, they want me to design a new line for them. God, yes, I'll be a designer. They'll call it the Becky Bloomwood Collection. Simple, stylish, wearable garments with maybe 1 or 2 evening dresses. This is simply a courtesy call, says David Barrow, interrupting my thoughts. I just want to ensure that you are completely happy with our service and ask if you have any other needs we can help you with. Well, thanks, I say. I'm very happy, thanks. I mean, I'm not exactly a regular customer, but also to mention the small matter of your outstanding La Rosa card account, adds David Barrow, as though I haven't spoken, and to inform you that if payment is not received within 7 days, further action will have to be taken. I stare at the phone, feeling my smile fade. This isn't a courtesy call at all, is it? He doesn't want me to design a collection of clothes. He's phoning about money. I feel slightly outraged. Surely people aren't just allowed to telephone you in your own home and demand money with no warning? I mean, obviously I'm going to pay them, just because I don't send a check off the moment the bill comes through the letterbox. It has been 3 months now since your first bill, David Barrow was saying, and I must inform you that our policy after the 3-month period is to hand over all outstanding accounts to, yes, well, I interrupt coolly. My accountants are dealing with all my bills at the moment. I'll speak to them. I'm so glad to hear it. And of course, we look forward to seeing you in La Rosa very soon. Yeah, well, I say grumpily, maybe. I put the phone down as Suze comes past the door again, dragging another black bin bag. Suze, what are you doing? I say, staring at her. I'm decluttering, she says. It's brilliant. So cleansing. You should try it. So, who is David Barrow? Just some stupid bill I hadn't paid, I say. Honestly, phoning me at home. Ooh, that reminds me. Hang on. She disappears for a moment, then appears again, holding a bundle of envelopes. I found these under my bed when I was tidying up, and this other lot were on my dressing table. I think you must have left them in my room. She pulls a face. I think they're all bills, too. Oh, thanks, I say, and throw them onto the bed. Maybe, says Suze hesitantly, maybe you should pay some of them off, just 1 or 2. But I have paid them all off, I say in surprise. I paid them all off in June, don't you remember? Oh, yes, says Suze, yes, of course I do. She bites her lip, but the thing is, Bex. What? Well, that was a while ago, wasn't it? And maybe you've built up a few debts since then. Since June? I give a little laugh. But that was only about 5 minutes ago. Honestly, Suze, you don't need to worry. I mean, take this one. I reach randomly for an envelope. I mean, what have I bought in M&S recently? Nothing. Oh, right, says Suze, looking relieved. So this bill will just be for 0, will it? Absolutely, I say, ripping it open. 0. Or, 10 quid. For the odd pair of knickers. I pull out the account and look at it. For a moment, I can't speak. How much is it? Says Suze in alarm. It's wrong, I say, trying to stuff it back in the envelope. It has to be wrong. I'll write them a letter. Let me see. Suze grabs the bill, and her eyes widen. 365 pounds? Bex, it has to be wrong, I say. But my voice is holding less conviction. I'm suddenly remembering those leather trousers I bought in the Marble Arch sale, and that dressing gown, and that phase I went through of eating M&S sushi every day. Sue stares at me for a few minutes, her face creased anxiously. Bex, do you think all of these other bills are as high as that? Silently, I reach for the envelope from Selfridge's and tear it open. Even as I do so, I'm remembering that chrome juicer, the one I saw and had to have. I've never even used it. And that fur trim dress, where did that go? How much is it? It's enough, I reply, pushing it quickly back inside before she can see that it's well over 400 pounds. I turn away, trying to keep calm, but I feel alarmed and slightly angry. This is all wrong. The whole point is I paid off my cards. I paid them off. I mean, what's the point of paying off all your credit cards if they all just go and sprout huge new debts again? What is the point? Look, Bex, don't worry, says Suze. You'll be okay. I just won't cash your rent check this month. No, I exclaim, don't be silly. You've been good enough to me already. I don't want to owe you anything. I'd rather owe M&S. I look around and see her anxious face. Suze, don't worry. I can easily put this lot off for a bit. I hit the letter. And meanwhile, I'll get a bigger overdraft or something. In fact, I've just asked the bank for an extension, so I can easily ask for a bit more. In fact, I'll phone them right now. What, this minute? Why not? I pick up the phone again, reach for an old bank statement, and dial the Enwich number. You see, there really isn't a problem, I say reassuringly. One little phone call is all it'll take. Your call is being transferred to the Central Enwich Call Center. Comes a tinny voice down the line. Kindly memorize the following number for future use. 0800. What's going on, says Suze. I'm being transferred to some central system, I say, as Vivaldi's Four Seasons starts to play. They'll probably be really quick and efficient. This is great, isn't it? Doing it all over the phone. Welcome to Enwich Bank, says a new woman's voice in my ear. Please key in your account number. What's my account number? Shit, I've got no idea. Oh, yes, on my bank statement. Thank you, says the voice as I finish pressing the numbers. Now please key in your personal identification number. What? Personal identification number? I didn't know I had a personal identification number. Honestly, they never told me. Actually, maybe that does ring a slight bell. Oh God, what was it again? 73 something? 37 something? Please key in your personal identification number, repeats the voice pleasantly. But I don't know my bloody personal identification number, I say. Quick, Suze, if you were me, what would you choose as a personal identification number? Ooh, says Suze. I'd choose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Please key in your personal identification number, says the voice with a definite edge to it this time. God, this is really stressful. Try my number for my bicycle lock, suggests Suze. It's 435. Suze, I need my number, not yours. You might have chosen the same, you never know. Please key in. All right, I yell and punch in 435. I'm sorry, intones the voice. This password is invalid. I knew it wouldn't work. It might have done, says Suze defensively. It should be 4 digits anyway, I say, having a sudden flash of memory. I had to phone up and register it, and I was standing in the kitchen and... Yes. I just got my new Karen Miller shoes, and I was looking at the price tag, and that was the number I used. How much were they? Says Susan, excitement. They were 120 pounds reduced to 84 pounds 99 pence. Punch it in, 8499. Excitedly, I punch in 8499, and to my disbelief, the voice says, "Thank you. You are through to the Enwich Banking Corporation. Enwich, because we care. For debt control, press 1. For mortgage arrears, press 2. For overdrafts and bank charges, press 3. Right, I'm through," I exhale sharply, feeling a bit like James Bond, breaking the code to save the world. Am I debt control or overdrafts and bank charges? Overdrafts and bank charges, says Suze knowledgeably. Okay. I press 3, and a moment later, a cheerful sing-song voice greets me. Hello, welcome to Enwich Central Call Center. I'm Donna. How can I help you, Miss Bloomwood? Oh, hi, I say, taken aback. Are you real? Yes, says Donna and laughs. I'm real. Can I help you? Yes. I'm phoning because I need an extension to my overdraft. A few £100 if that's all right, or, more if you've got it. I see, says Donna pleasantly. Was there a specific reason, or just a general need? She sounds so nice and friendly, I feel myself start to relax. Well, the thing is, I've had to invest quite a bit in my career recently, and a few bills have come in and kind of taken me by surprise. Oh, right, says Donna sympathetically. I mean, it's not as if I'm in trouble, it's just a temporary thing. A temporary thing, she echoes, and I hear her typing in the background. I suppose I have been letting things mount up a bit, but the thing was, I paid everything off. I thought I'd be able to relax for a bit. Oh, right. So you understand. I give a relieved beam to Suze, who offers me a thumbs up in return. This is more like it. Just one quick and easy call like in the adverts. No nasty letters, no tricky questions. I completely understand, Donna's saying. It happens to us all, doesn't it? So, can I have the overdraft? I say joyfully. Oh, I'm not authorized to extend your overdraft by more than £50, says Donna in surprise. You'll have to get in touch with your branch overdraft facilities director, who is Fulham, a Mr. John Gavin. I stare at the phone in dismay, but I've already written to him. Well, that's all right then, isn't it? Now, is there anything else I can help you with? No, I say, no, I don't think so. Thanks anyway. I put down the phone disconsolately. Stupid bank. Stupid call center. So are they going to give you the money? Asked Suze. I don't know. It all depends on this John Gavin bloke. I look up and see Suze's anxious face. But I'm sure he'll say yes, I add hastily. He's just got to review my file. It'll be fine. Suppose if you just don't spend anything for a while, you'll easily get back on track, won't you? She says hopefully. I mean, you're making loads of money from the telly, aren't you? Yes, I say after a pause, not liking to tell her that after rent, taxi fares, meals out, and outfits for the show, it doesn't actually amount to that much. And there's your book, too. My book? For a moment I stare at her blankly, then suddenly, with the lift of the heart, I remember. Of course, my self-help book. I've been meaning to do something about that. Well, thank God, this is the answer. All I have to do is write my book really quickly and get a nice big check, and then I'll pay all these cards off and everything will be happy again. Ha! I don't need any stupid overdraft. I'll start straight away, this evening. And the truth is, I'm rather looking forward to getting down to my book. I have so many important themes I want to address in it, like poverty and wealth, comparative religion, philosophy maybe. I mean, I know the publishers have just asked for a simple self-help book, but there's no reason why I can't encompass broader questions too, is there? In fact, if it does really well, I might give lectures. God, that would be great, wouldn't it? I could become a kind of lifestyle guru and tour the world, and people would flock to see me and ask my advice on all sorts of issues. How's it going? Says Suze, appearing at my door in a towel, and I jump guiltily. I've been sitting at my computer for quite a while now, but haven't actually turned it on. I'm just thinking, I say hastily, reaching to the back of the computer and flipping the switch. Focusing my thoughts and letting the creative juices meld into a coherent pattern. Wow, says Susan, looks at me in slight awe. That's amazing. Is it hard? Not really, I say after a bit of thought. It's quite easy, actually. The computer suddenly burst into a riot of sound and color, and we both stared at it, mesmerized. Wow, says Susie again. Did you do that? Yes, I say, which is true. I mean, I did switch it on. God, you're so clever, Bex, breathes Suze. When do you think you'll finish it? Oh, quite soon, I expect, I say breezily. Once I get going. Well, I'll leave you to get on with it then, says Suze. I just wanted to borrow a dress for tonight. Oh, right, I say with interest. Where are you going? Venetia's party, says Suze. Do you want to come too? Oh, go on. Come, everyone is going. For a moment, I'm tempted. I met Venetia a few times, and I know she gives amazing parties at her parents' house in Kensington. No, I say at last, I'd better not. I've got work to do. Oh, well, Suze's face droops briefly. But I can borrow a dress, can I? Of course. I screw up my face for a moment, thinking hard. Why don't you wear my new Taka dress with your red shoes and my English eccentrics wrap? Excellent, says Suze, going to my wardrobe. Thanks, Bex. Can I borrow some knickers, she adds casually, and some tights and makeup? I turn in my chair and give her a close look. Suze, when you decluttered your room, did you keep anything? Of course I did, she says a little defensively. You know, a few things. She meets my gaze. Okay, perhaps I went a bit too far. Do you have any underwear left? Well, no. But, I feel so good and kind of positive about life. It doesn't matter. It's feng shui. You should try it. I watch as Suze gathers up the dress and underwear and rifles through my makeup bag. Then she leaves the room and I stretch my arms out in front of me, flexing my fingers. Right, to work. I open a file, type Chapter 1, and stare at it proudly. Chapter 1. This is so cool. Now all I have to do is come up with a really memorable, striking opening sentence. I sit quite still for a while, concentrating on the empty screen in front of me, then type briskly, finance is the... I stop and take a sip of Diet Coke. Obviously, the right sentence takes a bit of honing. You can't just expect it to land straight in your head. Finance is the most... God, I wish I were writing a book about clothes or makeup. Becky Bloomwood's Guide to Lipstick. Anyway, I'm not, so concentrate. Finance is something which, my chair's quite uncomfortable. I'm sure it can't be healthy, sitting on a squashy chair like this for hours on end. I'll get repetitive strain injury or something. Really, if I'm going to be a writer, I should invest in one of those ergonomic ones, which swivel around and go up and down. Finance is maybe they sell chairs like that on the internet. Maybe I should just have a quick little look since the computer's on and everything. In fact, surely it would be irresponsible of me if I didn't. I mean, you have to look after yourself, don't you? Men's sauna in healthy sauna or whatever it is. I reach for my mouse, quickly click onto the internet icon and search for office chairs. And soon I'm coasting happily through the list. And I've already noted down a few good possibilities. When all of a sudden I land on this incredible website, which I've never seen before, all full of office supplies. Not just boring white envelopes, but really amazing high-tech stuff, like smart chrome filing cabinets and cool pen holders and really nice personalized nameplates to put on your door. I scroll through all the photographs, utterly mesmerized. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to be spending money at the moment, but this is different. This is investment in my career. After all, this is my office, isn't it? It should be well equipped. It needs to be well equipped. In fact, I can't believe how short-sighted I've been. How on earth was I expecting to write a book without the necessary equipment? It would be like climbing Everest without a tent. I'm so dazzled by the array of stuff you can get that I almost can't decide what to buy. But there are a few essentials which I absolutely must buy. So I click on an ergonomic swivel chair upholstered in purple to match my iMac, plus a dictaphone which translates stuff straight into your computer. And then I find myself adding a really cool steel claw which holds up notes while you're typing. A set of laminated presentation folders, which are bound to come in useful, and a mini paper shredder, which is a complete essential because I don't want the whole world seeing my first drafts, do I? And I'm toying with the idea of some modular reception furniture, except I don't really have a reception area in my bedroom. when Suze comes back into the room. Hi, how's it going? I jump guiltily, quickly click on send without even bothering to check what the final amount was, click off the internet, and look up just as my chapter 1 reappears on the screen. You're working really hard, says Sue, shaking her head. You should take a break. How much have you done? Oh, quite a lot, I say. Can I read it? And to my horror, she starts coming toward me. No, I exclaim. I mean, it's a work in progress. It's sensitive material. Hastily, I close the document and stand up. You look really great, Sue's fantastic. Thanks, she beams at me and twirls around on my dress as the doorbell rings. Ooh, that'll be funny. Fenella is one of Suze's weird posh cousins from Scotland. Except to be fair, she's not actually that weird anymore. She used to be as peculiar as her brother Tarquin and spend the whole time riding horses and shooting fish or whatever they do. But recently she's moved to London and got a job in an art gallery, and now she just goes to parties instead. As Suze opens the front door, I can hear her high-pitched voice and a whole gaggle of girls' voices following her. Fanny can't move 3 feet without a huge cloud of shrieking people around her. She's like some socialite version of a rain god. Hi, she says, bursting into my room. She's wearing a really nice pink velvet skirt from Whistles, which I've also got, but she's teamed it with a disastrous brown Lurex polo neck. Hi, Becky, are you coming tonight? Not tonight, I say. I've got work to do. I've got to work. Oh, well, Fenella's face droops just like Suze's did, then brightens. Then, can I borrow your Jimmy shoes? We've got the same size feet, haven't we? Okay, I say. They're in the wardrobe. I hesitate, trying to be tactful. And do you want to borrow a top? It's just I've actually got the top that goes with your skirt. Pink cashmere with little beads, really nice. Have you? Says Fanny. Ooh, yes. I shoved on this polo neck without really thinking. As she peels it off, a blonde girl in a black shift comes in and beams at me. Hi, Milla, I say, remembering her name just in time. How are you? I'm fine, she says and gives me a hopeful look. Fanny said I could borrow your English eccentrics wrap. I'm lending it to Suze, I say, pulling her regretful face. But what about a purple shawl with sequins? Yes, please. And Binky says, have you still got that black wraparound skirt? I have, I say thoughtfully, but actually, I've got another skirt I think would look even better on her. It's about half an hour before everyone has borrowed what they want. Eventually, they all pile out of my room, shrieking to me they'll return it all in the morning. And Suze comes in looking completely stunning, with her hair piled up on her head and hanging down in blonde tendrils. Bex, are you sure you don't want to come? She says. Tarquin's going to be there, and I know he'd like to see you. Oh, right, I say, trying not to look too appalled at the idea. Is he in London, then? Just for a few days. Suze looks at me a little sorrowfully. You know, Bex, if it weren't for Luke, I reckon Turkey still likes you. I'm sure he doesn't, I say quickly. That was ages ago now. Ages. My one and only date with Tarquin is one of those events I'm trying very hard never to remember again, ever. Oh well, says Sue, shrugging. See you later. And don't work too hard. I won't, I reply and give a world-weary sigh. Or at least I'll try not to. I wait until the front door bangs behind her and the taxis waiting outside have roared off. And then I take a sip of tea and turn back to my first chapter. Chapter 1. Finances vary. Actually, I'm not really in the mood for this anymore. Suze is right, I should have a break. I mean, if I sit here hour after hour, I'll get all jaded and lose the creative flow. And the point is, I've made a good start. I stand up and stretch, then wander into the sitting room and pick up a copy of Tatler. It's EastEnders in a minute, and then it might be Changing Rooms or something. Or that documentary about the vets. I'll just watch that, and then I'll go back to work. I mean, I've got a whole evening ahead, haven't I? I need to pace myself. Idly, I flick open the magazine, and I'm scanning the contents page for something interesting, when suddenly my eye stops in surprise. So then a picture of Luke with the caption, Best of Brandon, page 74. Why on earth didn't he tell me he was going to be in Tatler? The photograph is his new official one, the one I helped him choose an outfit for. Blue shirt, dark blue Fendi tie. He is staring at the camera, looking all serious and businesslike. But if you look closely at his eyes, there's a little friendly spark there. As I stare at his face, I feel a tug of affection, and I realize Suze is right. I should just trust him, shouldn't I? I mean, what does Alicia Bitchy Pants know about anything? I turn to page 74, and it's an article on Britain's top movers and shakers. I scan down the page, and I can't help noticing that some of the movers and shakers are pictured with their partners. Maybe there'll be a picture of me with Luke. After all, somebody might have taken a picture of us together at a party or something, mightn't they? Come to think of it, we were once snapped by the Evening Standard at a launch for some new magazine, although I never actually got into the paper. Oh, here he is, number 34. And it's just him in the same official photo with not a glimpse of me. Still, I feel a twinge of pride as I see his picture. Much bigger than some of the others, ha! And a caption reading, Brandon's ruthless pursuit of success has knocked lesser competitors off the starting blocks. Then the piece starts. Luke Brandon, dynamic owner and founder of Brandon Communications, the bloody. I skim over the text, feeling a pleasant anticipation as I reach the section labeled Vital Statistics. This is the bit where I'll be mentioned. Currently dating TV personality Rebecca Bloomwood, or maybe partner of well-known finance expert Rebecca Bloomwood, or else Luke James Brandon, age 34, education Cambridge, current status single. Single? Luke told them he was single? A hurt anger begins to rise through me as I stare at Luke's confident, arrogant gaze. Suddenly, I've had enough of all this. I've had enough of being made to feel insecure and paranoid and wondering what's going on. Hands trembling, I pick up the phone and jab in Luke's number. Yes, I say as soon as the message is finished. Yes, well, if you're single, Luke, then I'm single too. Okay? And if you're going to New York, then I'm going to Outer Mongolia. And if you're... Suddenly my mind goes blank. Shit, and it was going so well. If you're too cowardly to tell me these things yourself, then maybe it's better for both of us if we simply... I'm really struggling here. I should have written it all down before I began. If we just call it a day. Or perhaps that's what you think you've already done. I finish breathing hard. Becky? Suddenly Luke's deep voice is in my ear and I jump with fright. Yes, I say, trying to sound dignified. What is all this gibberish you're spouting on my machine? He asks calmly. It's not gibberish, I reply indignantly. It's the truth. If you're single, then I'm single? What's that supposed to be? Lyrics to a pop song. I was talking about you and the fact you've told the whole world you're single. I've done what? Says Luke, sounding amused. When did I do that? It's in Tatler, I say furiously, this month. I grab for the magazine and flip it open. Britain's top movers and shakers, number 34, Luke Brandon. Oh, for God's sake, says Luke, that thing. Yes, that thing, I exclaim, that thing. And it says you're single. How do you think it felt for me to say you said you were single? It quotes me, does it? Well, no, I say after a pause. It doesn't exactly quote you. But I mean, they must have phoned you up and asked you. They did phone me up and ask me, he says. And I said no comment. Oh. I'm silenced for a moment, trying to think clearly. Okay, so maybe he didn't say he was single. But I'm not at all sure I'd like no comment. Isn't that what people say when things are going really badly? Why did you say no comment? I say at last. Why didn't you say you were going out with me? My darling, says Luke, sounding a little weary. Think about it. Do you want our private life splashed all over the media? Of course not. I twist my hands into a complicated knot. Of course not. But I stop. What? You told the media when you were going out with Sasha. I say in a small voice. Sasha is Luke's ex-girlfriend. I can't quite believe I just said that. Luke sighs. Becky, Sasha told the media about us. She would have had People magazine photographing us in the bath if they'd been interested. That's the kind of girl she was. Oh, I say, winding the telephone cord around my finger. I'm not interested in that kind of thing. My clients can do what they like, but personally I can't think of anything worse. Hence the no comment. He pauses, but you're right. I should have warned you. I'm sorry. That's all right, I say awkwardly. I suppose I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. So are we okay? Says Luke, and there's a warm, teasing note to his voice. Are we back on course? What about New York? I say, hating myself. Is that all a mistake too? There's a long, horrible silence. What have you heard about New York? Says Luke at last. And to my horror, he sounds all businesslike and distant. Oh, God. Why couldn't I keep my mouth closed? Nothing really, I stammer. I don't know. I tell off feebly, and for what seems like hours, neither of us says anything. My heart is pounding hard, and I'm clutching the receiver so hard my ear's starting to hurt. Becky, I need to talk to you about a few things, says Luke finally, but now is not the time. Right, I say, feeling a pang of fright. What sort of things? Not now. Let's talk when I get back, okay? Saturday, at the wedding. Right, I say again, talking brightly to hide the nerves in my voice. Okay, well, I'll see you then. But before I can say any more, he's gone. Between chapters 5 and 6 is a letter from Enwich Bank, Fulham Branch, 3 Fulham Road, London, SW6 9JH, to Ms. Rebecca Bloomwood, Flat 2, 4 Burney Road, London, SW6 8FD, 12 September 2000. Dear Ms. Bloomwood, further to my letter of 8 September, I have conducted a thorough examination of your account. Your current overdraft limit vastly exceeds the bank's approved ratios. I cannot see any need for this excessive level of debt, nor that any genuine attempts have been made to reduce it. This situation is little short of a disgrace. Whatever special status you have enjoyed in the past will not be continuing in the future. I will certainly not be increasing your overdraft limit as you request, and would ask as a matter of urgency that you make an appointment with me to discuss your position. Yours sincerely, John Gavin, Overdraft Facilities Director. Chapter 6. I arrive at my parents' house at 10 o'clock on Saturday to find the street full of festivity. There are balloons tied to every tree. Our drive is full of cars, and a billowing marquee is just visible from next door's garden. I get out of my car, reach for my overnight bag, then just stand still for a few moments, staring at the Webster's house. God, this is strange. Tom Webster getting married. I can hardly believe it. To be honest, and this may sound a bit mean, I can hardly believe that anyone would want to marry Tom Webster. He has smartened up his act recently, admittedly. He's got a few new clothes and a better hairstyle, but his hands are still all huge and clammy, and frankly, he's not Brad Pitt. So that's the point of love, I think, closing my door, my car door with a bang. You love people despite their flaws. Lucy obviously doesn't mind that Tom's got clammy hands, and he obviously doesn't mind that our hair's all flat and boring. It's quite romantic, I suppose. As I'm standing there gazing at the house, a girl in jeans with a circlet of flowers in her hair appears at the Webster's front door. She gives me an odd, almost aggressive look, then disappears inside the house again. One of Lucy's bridesmaids, obviously. I expect she's a bit nervous being seen in her jeans. Lucy's probably in there too, it occurs to me, and instinctively I turn away. I know she's the bride and everything, but to be honest, I'm not desperately looking forward to seeing Lucy again. I've only met her a couple of times and we've never gelled. Probably because she had the idea I was in love with Tom. Still, at least when Luke arrives, I'll finally be able to prove them all wrong. At the thought of Luke, there's a painful stab in my chest, and I take a deep, slow breath to calm myself. I'm determined I'm not going to put the cart before the horse this time. I'm going to keep an open mind and see what he says today. And if he does tell me he's moving away to New York, then I'll just deal with it somehow. Anyway, don't think about it now. Briskly, I head for the front door and let myself in. I head for the kitchen and find my dad drinking coffee in his waistcoat, while Mom, dressed in a nylon cape with her hair in curlers, is buttering a round of sandwiches. I just don't think it's right, she's saying as I walk in. It's not right. They're supposed to be leading our country, and look at them, they're a mess. Dowdy jackets, dreadful ties. You really think the ability to govern is affected by what you wear, do you? Hi, Mom, I say, dumping my bag on the floor. Hi, Dad. It's the principle of the thing, says Mom. If they're not prepared to make an effort with their dress, then why should they make any effort with the economy? It's hardly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Becky, you think the Chancellor should dress more smartly, don't you? All this lounge suit nonsense. I don't know, I say vaguely, maybe. You see, Becky agrees with me. Now, let me have a look at you, darling. She puts down her knife and surveys me properly, and I feel myself glowing a little because I know I look good. I'm wearing a shocking pink dress and jacket, a Philip Treacy feathered hat, and the most beautiful black satin shoes, each decorated with a single gossamer butterfly. Oh, Becky, says Mom at last, you look lovely. You'll upstage the bride. She reaches for my hat and looks at it. This is very unusual. How much did it cost? I can't remember, I say vaguely. Maybe 50 quid? This is not quite true. It was actually more like, well, anyway, quite a lot. Still, it was worth it. So, where's Luke? Says Mom, popping my hat back on my head. Parking the car? Yes, where's Luke? Says my father, looking up and gives a jocular laugh. We've been looking forward to meeting this young man of yours at last. Luke's coming separately, I say, and flinch slightly as I see their faces fall. Separately, says Mom at last. Why's that? He's flying back from Zurich this morning, I explain. He had to go there for business, but he'll be here, I promise. He does know the service starts at 12, says Mom anxiously. And you've told him where the church is? Yes, I say, honestly, he'll be here. I'm aware that I sound slightly snappy, but I can't help it. To be honest, I'm a bit stressed out myself about where Luke's got to. He was supposed to be ringing me when he landed at the airport, and that was supposed to be half an hour ago. But so far I haven't heard anything. Still, he said he'd be here. Can I do anything to help? I asked, to change the subject. Be a darling and take these upstairs for me, says Mom, cutting the sandwiches briskly into triangles. I've got to pack away the patio cushions. Who's upstairs? I say, picking up the plate. Maureen's come over to blow-dry Janice's hair, says Mom. They want to keep out of Lucy's way, while she's getting ready. Have you seen her yet? I asked interestedly. Has she got a nice dress? I haven't seen it, says Mom, and lowers her voice. But apparently it cost £3,000, and that's not including the veil. Wow, I say, impressed. For a second, I feel ever so slightly envious. A £3,000 dress, and a party, and loads of presents. I mean, people who get married have it all. As I go up the stairs, there's the sound of blow-drying coming from Mom and Dad's bedroom. And as I go in, I see Janice sitting on the dressing room stool, wearing a dressing gown, holding a sherry glass, and dabbing at her eyes with a hanky. Maureen, who's been doing Mum's and Janice's hair for years now, is brandishing a hairdryer at her, and a woman I don't recognize with a mahogany tan, dyed blonde curly hair and a lilac silk suit is sitting on the window seat. "Hello, Janice," I say, going over and giving her a hug. "How are you feeling?" "I'm fine, dear," she says and gives a sniff, a little wobbly. To think of Tom getting married." "I know," I say sympathetically. "Doesn't seem like yesterday that we were kids riding our bikes together." "Have another sherry, Janice," says Maureen comfortably, and slashes a deep brown liquid into her glass. "It'll help you relax." "Oh, Becky," says Janice and squeezes my hand. "This must be a hard day for you, too." I knew it. She does still think I fancy Tom, doesn't she? Why do all mothers think their sons are irresistible? "Not really," I say as brightly as I can. I'm just pleased for Tom, and Lucy, of course. "Becky?" The woman on the window seat turns toward me, eyes narrowed suspiciously. "This is Becky?" And there's not an ounce of friendliness in her face. Oh, God. Don't say she thinks I'm after Tom, too. Yes, I smile at her. "I'm Rebecca Bloomwood, and you must be Lucy's mother?" "Yes," says the woman, still staring at me. "I'm Angela Harrison, mother of the bride," she adds, emphasizing the bride, as though I don't understand English. "You must be very excited," I say politely. "Your daughter getting married." "Yes, well, of course. Tom is devoted to Lucy," she says aggressively. "Utterly devoted. Never looks in any other direction." She gives me a sharp glance, and I smile feebly back. Honestly, what am I supposed to do? Throw up all over Tom or something? Tell him he's the ugliest man I've ever known? They'd all just still say I was jealous. They'd say I was in denial. "Is Luke here, Becky?" says Janice, and gives me a hopeful smile. And suddenly, which is rather bizarre, everyone in the room is completely still, waiting for my answer. "Not yet, I'm afraid," I say. "I think he must have been held up." There's silence, and I'm aware of glances flying around the room. "Held up," echoes Angela, and there's a tone to her voice that I don't much like. "Is that right? Well, there's a surprise." What's that supposed to mean? "He's coming back from Zurich," I explain. "I should think the flight's been delayed or something." I look at Janice, and to my surprise, she flushes. "Zurich," she says, nodding a little too emphatically. "I see. Of course, Zurich." And she shoots me an embarrassed, almost sympathetic look. What's wrong with her? "This is Luke Brendan we're talking about here," says Angela, taking a puff on her cigarette. "The famous entrepreneur?" "Well, yes," I say, a bit surprised. I don't know any other Lukes." "And he's your boyfriend?" "Yes." There's a slightly awkward silence, and even Maureen seems to be gazing at me curiously. Then suddenly I see a copy of this month's Tatler lying on the floor by Janice's chair. Oh, God. That article in Tatler, by the way, I say hastily, is all wrong. He didn't say he was single. He said no comment. "Article?" says Janice unconvincingly. "I don't know what you're talking about, dear." I don't read magazines," says Maureen, who blushes bright red and looks away. "We just look forward to meeting him," says Angela, and blows out a cloud of smoke. "Don't we, Janice?" I stare at her in confusion, then turn to Janice, who will barely meet my eye, and Maureen, who's pretending to root about in a beauty case. Hang on a minute. They surely don't think. "Janice," I say, trying to keep my voice steady, "you know Luke's coming. He even wrote you a reply." "Of course he did, Becky," says Janice, staring at the floor. "Well, as Angela says, we're all looking forward to meeting him." I feel a swoosh of humiliated color fill my cheeks. What does she think? That I've just made up that I'm going out with Luke? "Well, enjoy your sandwiches, won't you?" I say, trying not to sound as flustered as I feel. "I'll just see if Mom needs me." When I find Mom, she's on the top floor landing, packing patio cushions into transparent plastic bags, then suctioning all the air out with the nozzle of her vacuum cleaner. I have some of these bags on order for you, by the way, she shouts over the noise of the vacuum. From Country Ways, plus some turkey foil, a casserole dish, a microwave egg poacher. I don't want any turkey foil, I yell. It's not for you, says Mom, turning off the vacuum. They had a special offer, introduce a friend and receive a set of earthenware pots. So I nominated you as a friend. It's a very good catalog, actually. I'll give it to you to have a browse. Mom. Lovely duvet covers. I'm sure you could do with the new... Mom, listen, I say agitatedly. Listen, you do believe I'm going out with Luke, don't you? There's a slightly too long pause. Of course I do, she says eventually. I stare at her in horror. You don't, do you? You all think I've just made it up. No, says Mom firmly. She puts down her Hoover and looks me straight in the eye. Becky, you've told us you're going out with Luke Brandon, and as far as Dad and I are concerned, that's enough. But Janice and Martin, do they think I've made it up? Mom gazes at me, then sighs and reaches for another patio cushion. Oh, Becky, the thing is, love, you have to remember, they once believed you had a stalker, and that turned out to be, well, not quite true, didn't it? A cold dismay creeps over me. Okay, maybe I did once kind of pretend I had a stalker, which I shouldn't have done. But I mean, just because you invent one tiny stalker, that doesn't make you a complete nutcase, does it? And the trouble is, we've never actually, well, seen him with you, have we, love? Mom's continuing as she stuffs the cushion into its transparent bag. Not in the flesh. And then there was that piece in the paper saying he was single. He didn't say single. My voice is shrill with frustration. He said no comment. Mom, have Janice and Martin told you they don't believe me? No. Mom lifts her chin defiantly. They wouldn't dare say a thing like that to me. But you know that's what they're saying behind our backs. We stare at each other and suddenly I see the strain in Mom's face, hidden behind her bright facade. She must have been so hoping we'd pull up together in Luke's flash car, I suddenly realize. She must have been so wanting to prove Janice wrong. And instead, here I am, on my own again. He'll be here, I say, almost to reassure myself. He'll be here any minute. Of course he will, exclaims Mom brightly. And as soon as he turns up, well, then everyone will have to eat their words, won't they? The doorbell rings and we both stiffen, staring at each other. I'll get that, shall I? I say, trying to sound casual. Why don't you, agrees Mom, and I can see a tiny shine of hope in her eyes. Trying not to run, I hurry down the stairs and, with a light heart, fling the front door open. And it's not Luke. It's a man laden with flowers, baskets of flowers, a bouquet of flowers, and several flat boxes at his feet. Wedding flowers, he says. Where do you want them? Oh, I say, trying to hide my disappointment. Actually, you've got the wrong house, I'm afraid. They need to go next door, number 41. Really? The man frowns. Let me just look at my list. Hold that, would you? He thrusts the bridal bouquet at me and starts rooting around his pocket. Honestly, I say, they need to go next door. Look, I'll just get my... I turn round, holding Lucy's bouquet with both hands because it's quite heavy. And to my horror, Angela Harrison is just arriving at the foot of the stairs. She stares at me, and for a moment, I almost think she's going to kill me. What are you doing? She snaps. Give me that. She wrenches the bouquet out of my hands and brings her face so close to mine I can smell the gin on her breath. Listen, young lady, she hisses. I'm not fooled by the smiles. I know what you're up to, and you can just forget it, all right? I'm not having my daughter's wedding wrecked by some deranged little psychopath. I'm not deranged, I exclaimed furiously, and I'm not going to wreck anything. I don't fancy Tom. I've got a boyfriend. Oh, yes, she says, folding her arms. The famous boyfriend. Is he here yet? No, he isn't, I say, and flinch at the expression on her face. But he just called. He just called, echoes Angela with a little sneer, to say he can't make it. Why won't these people believe that Luke's coming? Actually, he's half an hour away, I hear myself saying defiantly. Good, says Angela Harrison, and gives me a nasty smile. Well, we'll see him very soon then, won't we? Oh, shit. By 12 o'clock, Luke still hasn't arrived, and I'm beside myself. This is a complete nightmare. Where is he? I loiter outside the church until the very last minute, desperately dialing his number, hoping against hope I'm suddenly going to see him running up the road. But the bridesmaids have arrived, and another Rolls Royce has just pulled up, and he's still not here. As I see the car door open and a glimpse of wedding dress, I hastily retreat into the church before anyone can think I'm waiting outside to disrupt the bridal procession. As I creep in, trying not to disturb the organ music, Angela Harrison darts me an evil look, and there's a rippling and whispering from Lucy's side of the church. I sit down near the back, trying to keep composed and tranquil, but I'm well aware that all Lucy's friends are shooting surreptitious glances at me. What the hell has she been telling everyone? For a second, I feel like getting up and walking out. I never wanted to come to this stupid wedding anyway. I only said yes because I didn't want to offend Janice and Martin, but it's too late. The bridal march is starting, and Lucy's walking in, and I have to hand it to her. She's wearing the most drop-dead gorgeous dress I've ever seen. I stare wistfully after it, trying not to imagine what I would look like in a dress like that. The music stops and the vicar starts talking. I'm aware that people on Lucy's side of the church are still darting me little looks, but I adjust my hat and lift my chin and ignore them. To join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony, intones the vicar, which is an honorable estate. The bridesmaids have got really nice shoes, I notice. I wonder where they're from. Shame about the dresses, though. Reverently, discreetly, advisedly, soberly, and in the fear of God, he pauses to look around the congregation, just as I hear a little trilling sound coming from my bag. Shit, it's my phone. I pull up the zip, but it's stuck. I don't believe this. You buy an expensive bag and the bloody zip sticks. There's another louder trill. At the front of the church, Angela Harrison turns around in her pew and gives me the evil eye. Sorry, I mouth. I'm just trying to get it. As it trills for a third time, the vicar stops talking, and oh God, now Tom and Lucy are turning around too. I'm sorry, I gulp. Give me another frantic tug at the zip. I'll just try to. Face burning, I stand up, squeeze my way past the row of people, and hurry out of the church. As the door clangs shut behind me, I wrench so hard at the zip that I pull the stitching undone. I scrabble inside for the phone and jab at the green button. Hello, I say breathlessly into the mouthpiece. Luke? Good morning, says a cheery voice. Would you be interested in adding 100 minutes to your monthly plan? After carefully turning off my phone, I creep back into the church, where the rest of the service goes by in a blur. When it's over, Lucy and Tom process out, studiously ignoring me as they do so, and everyone gathers around them in the graveyard to throw confetti and take photos. I slip away without anyone noticing and hurry feverishly up the road to the Webster's house. Because Luke must be there by now. He must. He must have arrived late and decided not to come to the church, but go straight to the reception. It's obvious when you think about it. It's what any sensible person would do. I hurry through the Webster's house, which is full of caterers and waitresses, and head straight for the marquee. There's already a joyful smile on my face at the thought of seeing him and telling him about that awful moment in the church, and seeing his face crease up in laughter. But the marquee's empty, completely empty. I stand there bewildered, for a few moments, then quickly head out again and hurry toward my parents' house. Because maybe Luke went there instead, it suddenly occurs to me. Maybe he got the time wrong, or maybe he had to get changed into his wedding outfit, or maybe... But he's not there either. Not in the kitchen, not upstairs. And when I dial his mobile number, it clicks straight onto messages. Slowly I walk into my bedroom and sink down onto the bed, trying not to let myself think all the bad thoughts which are creeping into my mind. He's coming, I tell myself again and again. He's just on his way. Through the window I can see Tom and Lucy and all the guests starting to arrive in next door's garden. There are lots of hats and morning suits, and waitresses handing around champagne. In fact, it all looks rather jolly. I know I should be down there with them, but I just can't face it. Not without Luke, not all on my own. But after sitting there for a while, it occurs to me that by staying up here, I'll just be fueling the intrigue. They'll all think I can't face the happy couple, and then I'm off slitting my wrist somewhere. It'll confirm all their suspicions forever. I have to go and show my face, even if just for half an hour. I force myself to stand up, take a deep breath, and put some fresh lipstick on. Then I walk out of the house and round to the Websters. I slip inconspicuously into the marquee through a side flap and stand watching for a moment. There are people milling about everywhere, and the hubbub is huge, and no one even notices me. Near the entrance, there's a formal lineup with Tom and Lucy and their parents, but no way am I going near that. So instead, I sidle off to an empty table and sit down, and after a bit, a waitress comes and gives me a glass of champagne. For a while, I just sit there sipping my drink and watching people and feeling myself start to relax. But then there's a rustling sound in front of me. I look up and my heart sinks. Lucy is standing right in front of me in her beautiful wedding dress, flanked by a large bridesmaid in a really unflattering shade of green. Parentheses, which I think says quite a lot about Lucy. Close parentheses. "Hello, Rebecca," says Lucy pleasantly, and I can just tell she's congratulating herself on being so polite to the loony girl who nearly wrecked her wedding. "Hi," I say. "Listen, I'm really sorry about the service. I honestly didn't mean to." "That doesn't matter," says Lucy and gives me a tight smile. "After all, Tom and I are married. That's the main thing." And she gives her wedding ringed hand a satisfied glance. "Absolutely," I say. "Congratulations. Are you going on?" "We were just wondering," interrupts Lucy pleasantly. "Is Luke here yet?" My heart sinks. "Oh," I say, playing for time. "Well, it's only that Mommy said you told her he was half an hour away, but no sign of him. Which seems a bit strange, don't you think?" She raises her eyebrows innocently, and her bridesmaid gives a half snort of laughter. I glance over Lucy's shoulder and see Angela Harrison standing with Tom a few yards away, watching with gimlet triumphant eyes. God, they're enjoying this, aren't they? After all, that was, a good 2 hours ago now. Lucy's saying at least, so if he isn't here, it does seem a teeny bit peculiar. She gives me a mock concerned look. Or maybe he's had an accident. Maybe he's got held up in Zurich, was it? I stare at her smug, mocking face, and something violent rushes to my head. "He's here," I say before I can stop myself. There's a stunned silence. Lucy and her bridesmaid glance at each other while I take a deep gulp of champagne. "He's here?" says Lucy at last. "You mean here at the wedding?" "Absolutely," I say. He's been here a while, actually." "But where? Where is he?" "Well, he was just here a few moments ago." I gesture to the chair next to me. "Didn't you see him?" "No," says Lucy with wide eyes. "Where is he now?" And she starts to look around the marquee. "Just there," I say, pointing vaguely through the crowd. "He's wearing a morning coat." "And what else?" "And he's holding a glass of champagne." Thank God all men look alike at weddings. "Which one?" says Lucy impatiently. "The dark one," I say, and take another gulp of champagne. "Look, he's waving at me." I lift my hand and give a little wave. Hi, Luke. Where? Exclaims Lucy, peering into the crowd. Kate, can you see him? No, says the bridesmaid hopelessly. What does he look like? He's just disappeared, I say. He must be getting me a drink or something. Lucy turns to me again. So, how come he wasn't at the service? He didn't want to interrupt, I say after a pause, and force myself to smile naturally. Well, I won't keep you. You must want to mingle with your guests. Yes, says Lucy after a pause. Yes, I will. Giving me another suspicious look, she rustles off toward her mother, and they all start hobnobbing in a little group, shooting glances at me every so often. Then one of the bridesmaids rushes off to another group of guests, and they all start giving me glances too. And then one runs off to another group. It's like seeing a bushfire begin. A few moments later, Janice comes up all flushed and teary looking, with a flowery hat perched lopsidedly on her head. Becky, she says. Becky, we've just heard that Luke's here. And my heart plummets. Putting down the bride from hell was one thing, but I can't bring myself to lie to Janice. I just can't do it. So I quickly take a gulp of champagne and wave my glass at her in a vague manner that could mean anything. Oh, Becky, Janice clasps her hands. Becky, I feel absolutely... Have your parents met him yet? I know your mother will be over the moon. Oh, fuck. Suddenly I feel a bit sick. My parents, I didn't think of that. Janice, I just got to go and powder my nose, I say, and get hastily to my feet. See you later. And Luke, she says. And Luke, of course, I say, and give a shrill little laugh. I hurry to the portaloos without meeting anyone's eye, lock myself in a cubicle and sit, swigging the last warm dregs of my champagne. Okay, let's not panic about this. Let's just think clearly and go over my options. Option 1. Tell everybody that Luke isn't really here. I made a mistake. Not unless I want to be stoned to death with champagne glasses and never show my face in Akshat again. Option 2. Tell Mom and Dad in private that Luke isn't really here. But they'll be so disappointed. They'll be mortified and they won't enjoy the day, and it'll be all my fault. Option 3. Bluff it out and tell Mom and Dad the truth at the end of the day. Yes, that could work. It has to work. I can easily convince everyone Luke's here for about an hour or so, and then I'll say he's got a migraine and has gone off to lie down quietly. Right, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, let's go. You know, it's easier than I thought. Before long, everyone seems to be taking it for granted that Luke is around somewhere. Tom's granny even tells me she's already spotted him. Isn't he handsome, and will it be my turn next? I've told countless people that he was here just a minute ago. I've collected 2 plates of food from the buffet. One for me, one for Luke. In parentheses, tipped one into the flower bed. Close parentheses. And I've even borrowed some stranger's morning coat and put it on the chair next to me, as though it's his. The great thing is, no one can prove he's not here. There are so many people milling about, it's impossible to keep track of who's here and who isn't. I should have done this ages ago. Group photograph in a minute, says Lucy, bustling up to me. We all have to line up. Where's Luke? Talking to some guy about property prices, I reply without hesitation. They were over by the drinks table. Well, make sure you introduce me, says Lucy. I still haven't met him. Okay, I say and give her a bright smile. As soon as I track him down. I take a swig of champagne, look up, and there's Mom in her lime green wedding outfit heading toward me. So far, I've managed to avoid her and Dad completely, basically by running away whenever they've come close. I know it's really bad of me, but I just won't be able to lie to Mom. Quickly, I slip out of the marquee into the garden and head for the shrubbery, dodging the photographer's assistant who's rounding up all the children. I sit down behind a tree and finish my glass of champagne, staring up blankly at the blue afternoon sky. I stay there for what seems like hours until my legs are starting to ache and the breeze is making me shiver. Then at last I slowly wander back and slip inconspicuously into the tent. I won't hang around much longer, just long enough to have a piece of wedding cake maybe, and some more champagne. There she is, comes a voice behind me. I freeze for an instant, then slowly turn around. To my utter horror, all the guests are standing in neat rows in the center of their marquee while a photographer adjusts the tripod. "Becky, where's Luke?" says Lucy sharply. "We're trying to get everybody in." Shit. I swallow, trying to stay nonchalant. "Maybe he's in the house?" "No, he's not," says Kate, the bridesmaid. "I've just been looking in there." "Well, he must be in the garden then." "But you were in the garden," says Lucy, narrowing her eyes. "Didn't you see him?" I'm not sure." I look around the marquee hurriedly, wondering if I could pretend to spot him in the distance. But it's different when there are no milling crowds. Why did they have to stop milling? "He must be somewhere," says a cheerful woman. "Who saw him last?" There's a deathly silence. 200 people are staring at me. I catch Mom's anxious eye and quickly look away again. "Actually," I clear my throat. "Now I remember, he was saying he had a bit of a headache. So maybe he went to..." "Who's seen him at all?" cuts in Lucy, ignoring me. She looks around the assembled guests. "Who here can say they've actually seen Luke Brandon in the flesh? Anyone?" "I've seen him," comes a wavering voice from the back. "Such a good-looking young man." "Apart from Tom's grand," says Lucy, rolling her eyes. "Anyone?" Then there's another awful silence. "I've seen his morning coat," ventures Janice timidly, "but not his actual body," she whispers. I knew it. Lucy's voice is loud and triumphant. "He never was here, was he?" "Of course he was," I say, trying to sound confident. "I expect he's just in the..." "You're not going out with Luke Brandon after all, are you?" Her voice lashes across the marquee. "You just made the whole thing up. You're just living in your own sad little fantasy land." "I'm not." To my horror, my voice is thickening, and I can feel tears pricking at my eyes. "I'm not. Luke and I are a couple." But as I look at all the faces gazing at me, some hostile, some astonished, some amused, I don't even feel so sure of that anymore. I mean, if we were a couple, he'd be here, wouldn't he? He'd be here with me. I say in a trembling voice, "I'll just check if he's..." And without looking anyone in the eye, I back out of the marquee. "She's a bloody Fruit Loop," I hear Lucy saying. "Honestly, Tom, she could be dangerous." "You're dangerous, young lady," I hear Mom retorting, her voice shaking a little. "Janice, I don't know how you could let your daughter-in-law be so rude. Becky's been a good friend to you over the years. And to you, Tom, standing there, pretending this has nothing to do with you. And this is the way you treat her? Come on, Graham, we're going." And a moment later, I see Mom stalking out of the marquee, Dad in tow, her lime green hat quivering on her head. They head toward the front drive, and I know they're going back to our house for a nice, calming cup of tea. But I don't follow them. I can't bring myself to see them or anyone. I walk quickly, stumbling slightly toward the other end of the garden. Then, when I'm far enough away, I sink down onto the grass. I bury my head in my hands, and for the first time today, feel tears oozing out of my eyes. This should have been such a good day. It should have been such a wonderful, happy occasion. Seeing Tom get married, introducing Luke to my parents and all our friends, dancing together into the night, and instead it's been spoiled for everyone. Mom, Dad, Janice, Martin. I even feel sorry for Lucy and Tom. I mean, they didn't want all this disruption at their wedding, did they? For what seems like ages, I sit without moving, staring down at the ground. From the marquee, I can hear the sounds of a band starting up, and Lucy's voice bossing somebody about. Some children are playing with the beanbag in the garden, and occasionally it lands near me. But I don't flicker. I wish I could just sit here forever without having to see any of them ever again. And then I hear my name low across the grass. At first I think Lucy's right, and I'm hearing imaginary voices. But as I look up, my heart gives an almighty flip, and I feel something hard blocking my throat. I don't believe it. It's him. It's Luke walking across the grass toward me like a dream. He's wearing morning dress and holding 2 glasses of champagne, and I've never seen him looking more handsome. I'm sorry, he says as he reaches me. I'm beyond sorry. 4 hours late is, well, it's unforgivable. He shakes his head. I stare up at him dazedly. I'd almost started to believe that Lucy was right, and he only existed in my own imagination. Were you held up? I say at last. A guy had a heart attack. The plane was diverted. He frowns. But I left a message on your phone as soon as I could. Didn't you get it? I grab for my phone, realizing with a sickening thought that I haven't checked it for a good while. I've been too busy dealing with imaginary Luke to think about the real one. And sure enough, the little message icon is blinking merrily. No, I didn't get it, I say, staring at it blankly. I didn't. I thought. I break off and shake my head. I don't know what I thought anymore. Are you all right? Says Luke, sitting down beside me and handing me a glass of champagne. He runs a finger gently down my face and I flinch. No, I say, rubbing my cheek. Since you ask, I'm not all right. You promised you'd be here. You promised, Luke. I am here. You know what I mean. I hunch my arms miserably around my knees. I wanted you to be there at the service, not arrive when it's all nearly over. I wanted everyone to meet you and see us together. My voice starts to wobble. It's just been awful. They all thought I was after the bridegroom. The bridegroom? Says Luke incredulously. You mean the fail-paced non-entity called Tom? Yes, him. I look up and give a reluctant half-giggle as I see Luke's expression. Did you meet him then? I met him just now, and his very unlovely wife. Quite a pair. He takes a sip of champagne and leans back on his elbows. By the way, she looked rather taken aback to meet me. Almost gobsmacked, one might say, as did most of the guests. He gives me a quizzical look. Anything I should know? I clear my throat. Not really. Nothing important. I thought as much, says Luke. So the bridesmaid who cried out, "Oh my God, he exists!" when I walked in, she's presumably mad, I say, without moving my head. Right, he nods, just checking. He reaches out for my hand and I let him take it. For a while we sit in silence. A bird is wheeling round and round overhead, and in the distance I can hear the band playing Lady in Red. Becky, I'm sorry I was late. His voice is suddenly grave. There was really nothing I could do. I gave a lot of people a lot of grief, believe me. I'm sure you did, I exhale sharply. You couldn't help it. Just one of those things. For a while longer, we're both silent. Good champagne, says Luke eventually, and takes a sip. Yes, I say, it's very nice. Nice and dry. I break off and rub my face, trying to hide how nervous I am. There's part of me that wants to sit here making small talk for as long as we can. But another part is thinking, what's the point in putting it off any longer? There's only one thing I want to know. I feel a spasm of nerves in my stomach, but somehow force myself to take a deep breath and turn to him. So, how did your meetings in Zurich go? How's the new deal coming along? I'm trying to stay calm and collected, but I can feel my lips starting to tremble and my hands are twisting themselves into knots. Becky, says Luke. He stares into his glass for a moment, then puts it down. There's something I need to tell you. I'm moving to New York. I feel cold and heavy. So, this is the end to a completely disastrous day. Luke's leaving me. It's the end. It's all over. Right, I manage and give a careless shrug. I see. Well, okay. There's silence and I force myself to look up. The love in Luke's dark eyes hits me like a thunderbolt. And I'm really, really hoping he takes both my hands and squeezes them tight, that you'll come with me. And the chapter ends with a letter from Regal Airlines. Head office, Preston House, 354 Kingsway, London, WC24TH2, Ms. Rebecca Bloomwood, Flat 2, 4 Burney Road, London, SW6, 8FD, 17 September 2000. Dear Rebecca Bloomwood, thank you for your letter of 15 September. I am glad that you are looking forward to flying with us and have already recommended us highly to all your friends. I agree that word-of-mouth business is invaluable for a company such as ours and may well send our revenues, quote-unquote, rocketing. Unfortunately, this does not, as you suggest, qualify you for a special little thank you, quote-unquote, regarding luggage. Regal Airlines is unable to increase your luggage allowance beyond the standard 20 kilograms. Any excess weight will be subject to a charge. I enclose an explanatory leaflet. Please enjoy your flight. Mary Stevens, Customer Care Manager.